Today, Boise State Athletics and Arizona Bowl executives announced the Broncos withdrew from the Arizona Bowl after a COVID outbreak among players. All BSU football activities are also shut down at the moment, so they couldn't even play if they wanted to. Boise State was scheduled to play Central Michigan this Friday in Tucson. Boise State's Associate Athletic Director Jeremiah Dickey said today, quote, "We feel for the young men in our program who were very much looking forward to closing out their season, and for some, their football careers." Joining us now to talk about the breaking news is Sports Director Jay Tust. Jay, we talked about this at 4, but everyone's mind is going to these seniors.
Yeah, I spoke with Boise State's Director of Athletics, Jeremiah Dickey, about an hour ago, and I was able to kind of establish a timeline of how this all played out, Morgan. Players were allowed to go home for Christmas break for 3 days. They started to return on December 26th. Now, there were some travel delays that resulted in delayed testing. Obviously, the Boise airport was shut down for a little bit last night. But just to show you the protocols that they follow here, Boise State, they tested symptomatic and non-vaccinated players upon their return.
Okay.
Their protocol suggests that once they hit a certain threshold of positive test amongst that group, they test the whole team. Once they did that, it revealed enough positive tests that they ultimately had to withdraw from the Arizona Bowl.
Meaning they didn't have enough players because they were all going to be out with COVID.
Correct, or at least enough of them were to impact the safety of the players that were remaining to potentially play a game. So they made the decision to pull out of that thing. It's devastating news. Jeremiah Dickey said it's one of the hardest decisions that he's ever had to make because they really wanted to play this game. And just to show you how badly they wanted to play this game, the Boise State football equipment truck is already in Tucson. They have certain members of their staff in Tucson as we speak. They were awaiting the arrival of the team, which was scheduled for tomorrow afternoon. There is a truck with band equipment on it that's halfway to Tucson. I mean, they were fully intending to play this game, this specific bowl game, by the way, Morgan, because there had been some speculation, what if they could get an invite to another bowl game and go play there because it might be better. That was never their intention. They wanted to play in this bowl game, or they intended to play in this bowl game and honor their commitment to this bowl game, but ultimately they could not do that due to COVID-related circumstances within the program.
Christmas break just happened. They were able to go home. Has that been controversial? What are you hearing about this?
Obviously there has been some feedback on social media about this. People have questioned that decision. I'm told by Boise State Athletics that was a non-negotiable move. With a post-Christmas bowl game, they wanted to value the overall well-being and mental health of their athletes, so they gave them the option to go home and be with their families for the holidays. Hindsight's 2020. Obviously, that triggered some positive tests potentially, but either way, that was something that was non-negotiable because they wanted to emphasize the overall well-being of their student athletes, and they felt like it was better for them to be able to have the chance to go home and be with their family for Christmas.
It's just so tough to make these decisions, and as we talked about, this is affecting so many other football teams right now with the Omicron variant spreading, with people gathering for the holidays. Like you said earlier, maybe it was inevitable if they'd stayed here. We don't know.
Yeah, and I will say this though too, and I want to reiterate this. There has been some also speculation of them still, staying at home and playing in the Potato Bowl that happened earlier. That just wasn't an option that Boise State was given. They were selected to play in the Arizona Bowl, and they were going to honor that commitment. It wasn't that they could just say, "Hey, we're playing in the Potato Bowl." That just wasn't an option for them, Morgan. And now your heart goes out to guys like Khalil Shakir, Riley Wimpy, Kekala Kaniho, who have played their last games as members of the Boise State football team.
And they didn't expect that.
They didn't expect it. Incredible players, even better people. Tremendous character amongst that group there, so your hearts go out to them. And one thing I just want to add to, have some grace with these players on social media because they're devastated by this news too. Whatever your opinions are, they just wanted to play a football game, and so have some grace with them.
Thank you for adding that, Jay. And I think it's important to note too, this bowl game is still going to go on. At least that's the plan. Central Michigan is still slated to play in it. They're trying to figure out who they're going to play.
And if they can't, it looks like Central Michigan might go play Washington State in the Sun Bowl. Some moving pieces there. But what we need to know, Boise State's done for the season.
That's right. All right, Jay, thank you. As I mentioned, BSU not the only team shutting after a COVID outbreak. The Military and Fenway Bowls were both canceled because the teams don't have enough healthy players. Over 40 Boston College players are not able to play in the Military Bowl against East Carolina, which was scheduled for today. The college said it didn't have enough players to field a team because of COVID issues, season-ending injuries, opt-outs, and transfers. Virginia also had players test positive for COVID, making them unable to travel and play SMU at the Fenway Bowl on Wednesday. Also, the Miami Hurricanes have withdrawn from the Sun Bowl against Washington State because they don't have enough players due to COVID. That game is not canceled. Jay just alluded to this. The Sun Bowl Association says they're still looking for an opponent to take on the Cougars this Friday. We'll see whether that happens in Arizona, whether it happens in Texas.